All right. Let's see. I think we're going to get started now. If my game will... There it is. Hi, everybody. Hello, Ari Ciano. Hello, Ari. Welcome to stream. And hello to everyone who might be arriving, might not. Happy to have you here. Yeah, not much of a lead-in today for stream. I just kind of wanted to get started. And yeah, so maybe I should explain what we're doing. Okay, so basically, there's this game called Inscryption, and the game itself is a pretty good game. It's really cool, and I love the meta storytelling that it has. And I think it's super awesome. However, that's not exactly what we're doing because once you finish the game, there's this thing called Casey's mod, which is where you play the main mode of the game, but endlessly with optional challenges. And after I played Inscryption, I low-key got addicted to this. So, so basically, yeah, I low-key got addicted to this, and I beat the challenge run with literally all the challenges on, and now it's kind of just what I do to relax. So, yeah, we're just gonna be running through on all challenges, and this little dice thing here. We pick what with this little dice thing, it's gonna randomly select a deck. There's a couple of these that I really hope we don't get because they kind of stink. But if we do, we'll just work with it the best we can. But yeah, welcome to the live stream. I'm just gonna be casually doing this while we talk about the video and the amazing digital circus and I don't know, whatever else you guys feel like talking about. So yeah, all those on. Good. All right, let's see what we got today. Okay, so one thing that I immediately want to say about the Tadc finale is that it was less a group therapy session than I figure a lot of people expected, and I'm so happy that's the case. I mean, that's totally fair. Like, actually, wait, I need to see what deck this is. Okay, bugs. Okay, usually I try to avoid bugs because they're kind of busted in this game, but yeah, you know, I kind of was expecting it to be a super long group section. I was kind of expecting it, like I said in my video, to be a group therapy session, but it is probably good that it isn't, right? Like, I would have found it entertaining, but, like, I understand that a lot of people might not have. Hello, Enderman J. Welcome to chat. We're just chilling out, saying hello, talking about things. But yeah, I am glad that it didn't end up being as much of a group therapy session as I thought. Although, if you think about it, it kind of was a group therapy session. It was just Jax was the one, like, talking about all the feelings, and then we went from there. Also, probably not gonna go for this because I kind of hate the shark as a card because it ducks and then everything goes through and slams me in the face. So we're probably just not gonna try and get this. I usually don't, but yeah. All right. Ooh, this is gonna be a rough run if we've got this straight away. But anyway, I was rewatching to get my thoughts on Tadc finale. Also, I think Jax is interesting in the aspect that he is a villain who is redeemable but doesn't get redeemed. Yeah, I think the episode is saying a lot about, like, it is entirely possible that Jax, if we're doing bugs, we might as well go all the way. It's entirely possible that Jax could have been quote-unquote redeemed, but because of her own choices and what she decided to do, she decided, I am not redeemable, I'm not capable necessarily, I am not worthy of love, and so therefore I am going to push everyone away. And so it became something where, sadly, like, they're not able to be saved. It's not because they're an irredeemable person, it's because they don't want that help. And that's the unfortunate thing. You can't always help those, like, no matter how much you love someone, if they don't want to be helped, there's nothing really you can do. And that's always very sad. yeah, I have ads on the stream. Hopefully they don't come up too often. I hope I did the settings right. But yeah, if you do get an ad, that be life sometimes, unfortunately. There was something you missed. Jack says there's no getting out of this. Yeah, okay, that is fair that Jack says that, but in my defense, Jax is not a reliable narrator. And there's no reason to believe that he could reliably, like, decide how this whole situation worked. Because, to be entirely honest, we still don't know how abstraction works. But I think it's more of, like, because of who she is as a character, Jax is not coming back, you know? And yeah, this is fine. We'll just go like this. Yeah, funny thing about this mode, by the way, you just want to use these items. Depending on what you want to use these items right away. I want to get special items so that I have a chance of getting through the bear wall later, but yeah. From a narrative standpoint, it's telling the audience that he's not coming back. Yeah. That's, I think, the way it was intended, but like, on my first watch through, I was like, well, Jax doesn't know diddly squat, so why should I believe you? which is maybe a little bit silly of me, but that was my thought in my first watch through. I was like, oh, okay, so Jax believes there's no coming back. I didn't see it as the narrative telling me that. I saw it as like a belief that Jax had, you know? Yes. It is time for ant. Ants are seriously OP in this game, I gotta say. Like, look at this. Got 9 damage on board. Ridiculous. Yeah, and if we can, we want to get as much damage as possible so that we can buy a knife later. If you don't know how this gameplay works, this isn't going to make any sense what I'm saying. I'm just like talking strategy out loud to myself. But yeah. Also, didn't Jack still not transition in the real world even after getting out, getting a stable life? I mean, it's still basically unconfirmed. I'm using she, her pronouns because Gooseworks posted some fan art stuff earlier on Blue Sky, but we don't fully know what Jax in real life will end up doing, but because of what Gooseworks posted, I'm choosing to use she, her pronouns. Now that the series is done, how would you rank them? The episodes, I mean? I'm not sure. Like, as time goes on, I'm more, like, I like the finale more and more, if that makes sense. Might as well go on with the bugs. There are no bugs, only birds. That's a terrible bird. Yeah, I like the finale more as time goes on, but I think... I'm really not sure. I haven't thought about how I rank them. They All Get Guns is still a super fun one to me, but yeah, I'm trying to think. Mildenhall Manor is also a super good one. Like, I feel it happens really early, so maybe it's a little bit underrated, but I really, really like Mildenhall Manor. Hello, Kylie. Welcome to the stream. Good evening to you as well, and I'm doing pretty good. You know what? Let's do this. Why not? We have a wolf, we might as well use it. Yeah, and you know what? We'll go like this. Because like I said, we're trying to maximize damage. Episode 3 is my personal favorite. Setup is very clever. And that is Mildenhall Manor, right? Like, yeah. I really enjoy that one. I think it's really good. Okay, we're gonna do something a little bit weird for the sake of getting as much damage as we can on the board. So yeah. Yeah, Milden, like, the more I think about it, the more Mildenhall Manor is just like, yeah, that's a good one. Is there a way I can finagle this to get, like, 1 billion ants? I don't think so. Okay, you know what? You know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? Yeah, we're just gonna play the long game a little bit. Yes, we are. But yeah, Mildenhall Manor is a very good one. Let's see. Like, for the sake of Gummy Goo, I also really like Candy Carrier Chaos. Like, that one's really good. Like, it'll be interesting rewatching the series and seeing how everything comes together. Because with the context of everything that ends up happening, I think that changes a lot of how the series reads, if that makes sense. So I think it'll be fun going back and figuring out exactly how I feel about all the different episodes. Because every time like, now that I'm starting to think about it, it's like, there's really so many good ones. Let's... Ant. Okay, I'm not... No, I can get more damage. I can get more damage out of this. Nice. Okay, we definitely have enough teeth. Doing fairly alright. Slightly disappointed I missed the finale in cinemas. At least it was fun watching the YouTube premiere with Mom. Yeah, that is super awesome. Yeah, I can understand feeling a bit disappointed that you couldn't see it in theaters, but I'm glad that you're able to see it now and with some family. I think Candy Chaos should have had horses for Ragatha, more Western style. Hey, you know, maybe in the future they'll get to do that. Ragatha will get to hang out with some horses. Like, I think that'd be really good for her. Yeah, I do want that backpack. Yeah, I do appreciate the kind of, like, Mad Max stylings it went for, because it's kind of like thinking about Kane as an AI that's just, like, using whatever he can. It is kind of funny that he's like, oh, well, what do humans like? They like board games, Candyland, and they also like heart-pounding action with Mad Max Fury Road. Like, I think it's a fun mix that definitely leans into the comedy aspect. Yeah. If I can, I want to put the... Ah, man, I'm only gonna get one item if I do that. Okay, there's a backpack up there. We'll go like this first. Also, yes, I have played Inscryption. Very good game, and have to say that PO3 genuinely fumbled everything so bad. Literally just a massive jerk. Yep. Oh boy. Oh boy, did he fumble. Yeah, you know, that's a very good point. My man, he just thinks he's so great. But, you know, his game, gotta say, pal, not as fun. Not as fun. As you can tell, I prefer Casey's mod. But, yeah. The only question I have about the last episode is how is Kane alive? I rewatched it and I still don't get it. I imagine that, like, because when you delete something on a computer, it doesn't get, like, totally, completely deleted right away, right? Like, when I'm deleting stuff to make space on my computer, I also have to empty the recycling bin in order for there to actually be space. So I imagine he went into the recycling bin And then because he's an AI, he was able to finagle his way out again. But yeah, it's one of those things that doesn't get explained super overtly. And for what the episode is, I think that's fine that they don't explain it. But yeah, it's one of those things that's just left up to viewer interpretation. Do you know what's so funny about Inscryption lore? Piles of Hitler's bone is an actual plot point. It's it's interesting, that's for sure. It's one of those, like, when it comes to Inscryption lore, as I get older, I am more and more, like, I raise my eyebrows more at lore that's just, like, super, like, oh yes, you must find all the pieces. And with Inscryption, it's interesting, right? Because, like, I'm not upset that there's, like, an ARG that people still haven't solved, but it is kind of crazy that we haven't fully solved it. At least last I checked. I mean, you can correct me on that. Maybe now we just know a lot more than we did. But last I checked, we still had, like, no idea what was actually going on. But yeah. Maybe I am wrong and we now have all the secrets to the universe in the palm of our hand. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna have we're gonna have so many teeth when we need it. Oh. I will say though, I need to make sure to leave room in my bag so we can actually make use of the teeth. My main wish was to see the cast's human form at least once, and the fact that they got actual actors to fit the appearances better made me very happy. Would have been disappointed if it was just the voice actors. Yeah, I think it's really awesome that we got to see them, even if it's not super closely. Like, we just see photos of them on social media and then the bus stop at the end. New game from Inscryption is making Pony Island 2. It's coming out soon, I think. If you know ProZD, he's in it. Oh, that's cool. Good for him. Also, isn't Pony Island 2 gonna come out sometime? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know much about that, I will say, but it's awesome that they're making new projects. So many teeth. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, we'll just have to make sure to empty a space from our bag next time we fight, so that when we come across, these are very useful, so when we come across the bag, we can come across the shop. We have room to buy the knife. This one. Sure. Should have thought about that more, considering what we have coming. ProZD was also in God of War Ragnarok somehow. ProZD is a very prolific voice actor. Like, he's a working voice actor. He does a lot. It's a fun game, meta game, very clever. Not as good as Inscryption, but still a fun game. Okay, maybe I'll have to check it out sometime. You know what? Let's make the wolf even more powerful. Maybe one day you'll grow big and strong enough to kill bears, little guy. Also, it might be useful to put the arrow sigil on you at some point so that you don't just die to these frogs. I feel like this is one of the hardest ones to do because of the traps that end up appearing. Because it's like, you can get your super OP creature on the board, but then it's just like, oh yeah, they die, by the way. It's like, wow, okay, great. Alright, we're gonna do the mole to buy ourselves some time, maybe. And then we will just pull a bunch of squirrels to get paid, to be able to pay for things, and maybe get some more things. In his own words, voice actor first, YouTuber second. Exactly. Like I said, ProZD, working voice actor. He does a lot. Let me just yank out one of my teeth real quick. Beautiful. That's what I was looking for. Hello, Ant Queen. And I'm fine putting you in front of that because, yeah. Okay, I think we're gonna get through this. Too fast, too soon. Domain expansion, 8 bears. Exactly. We're not quite there yet, but, you know, at this point, I am very used to his tantrums. Because the biggest thing is you just need to get through the bears. If you get through the bears, you're A-okay. There we go. Nice. Honestly, I think this is gonna work out. I think this is gonna work out great for us. Actually, I do want to get this wolf down just to see how big and strong he gets. I definitely think the final episode should have been a 2-part episode. Could have split the 2 arcs, Jax first, Kane, Cass second. Yeah, I think that's a pretty common sentiment among people, and it's totally fair, right? Because, like, the episode does feel like it's split into 2 separate parts that don't necessarily fit together. Yeah, Zooble might go. Yeah, if Zooble wasn't there, I don't know what they would have done, to be entirely honest. Maybe just, like, lured him into the dark and slammed the door. I'm in a bit of a pickle, aren't I? Maybe just a little bit. Okay. How are we gonna do this? I'm not sure I did this most optimally, but if we have to start a new run, that's fine. This is just a casual time for the casual. Yeah, I don't. My problem is... Here, we'll go like this. Nice. This will work beautifully, I'm sure. Except it won't, because I don't have anything. Okay, well, it's fine. It's fine. This might be the end of the line for us. I just misplayed. That's okay. We'll just start on over at the beginning. It's not a big deal. So many teeth. I probably could have quit out and restarted the fight, because you can do that. But I just didn't feel like it, to be entirely honest. But yeah, to your point, I feel like a lot of people feel like the episode could have been split into 2 parts. I stand by my thought that maybe it could have been a bit longer. I was talking to my husband about this earlier, where it's like, I don't know, if it's gonna be 50 minutes already, might as well make it full movie length, right? And, like, it's easy for me to say that. I understand why it would be, like, really difficult and maybe not worth it to do that. But, yeah. It's, like, either... Your episodes are, like, 25 minutes anyway, so maybe it's a good idea to just do that. Either split it down the middle, or go whole hog and make it, like, a full movie, right? Yeah, we'll do the same thing as before. Sack the skunk, put it on the ant. Perfect. Yeah, my next video actually is gonna be on Zooble. I don't touch a ton on, like, what they do in regards to helping with Jax at the end, but I do talk about them, so get excited for that. What was I looking at? Right, the choice between two battles. Let's go with this one. And if we hate it, we can quit out and find another one. Okay, we got a Warren. You know what? Might as well get the Ant Queen down. And I'm not gonna double it just yet, because I actually do... I want us to be able to get lots and lots of teeth out of this. Unfortunately, there's a Wolverine coming at us, so that's nice. Let's see. Also, honestly, my favorite line from the entirety of Tadc is very unorthodox. I don't remember his real name, but his circus name was Scratch. Because it just sounds like something a real person would say, which is extremely hard to do for a voice actor. You know, that's fair. I think there are a couple of lines in Tadc like that, where it's just talking about, like, someone reacting like a normal person, which, like, as you said, is difficult to do. And I think is very cool. Okay, let's put the worker ant here. And we can put the flying ant over here. Except I don't want to do that. Because then... Like I said, I'm trying to get a bunch of teeth. Cast are all amazing actors? Absolutely. They did a really, really good job with everything this episode. And, like, you know, they always do a good job, but this episode especially felt very, very good. Alright. Which is better? Because I can do... That's 3. And if I do the ant, that'll just be 4. Okay. So we'll do this. I guess that's technically 4 as well. You know what? Whatever. It's the same either way. Yeah. Especially, I want to give props to Kinger's voice actor, because you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that he is not, like, a trained voice actor. Like, I believe this is his first, like, actual role, if that makes sense, which is really insane to think about. Like, he does such a good job. It's kind of insane. I love Kinger's performance and the subtle differences between how he acts, like, with and without the bucket, and it's just so good. I love Kinger as a character as well. It's super amazing. Alright, boulder time. Oh, I got the gold. Good for me. Even though we didn't know them for very long, Ribbit's performance as well is really, really good. I don't have any of these, so we're just gonna grab this and go. Yeah, and like I said at the start of the recent video, feels like weird that it's over, but I'm also really happy I was able to be here for it. Yeah, I don't know if that's a reference to, like, I understand it's a reference to Kane's song, but I don't know if the actual line is a reference to something else, sorry. I think the series needed another episode between 2 and 3 for Ragatha, her having PTSD about her mom, and Gangle's relationship with Jax. You know, I wouldn't have minded that. Like, now that all is said and done, and we're figuring all that out, like, I would not have minded getting another episode for sure. Like, I think maybe that would have been good for us to have, because we know enough about Ragatha, but we don't know a ton, you know? And in some ways that's fine, you don't have to explain everything, but in other ways it's kind of odd that we don't know more, you know? It's a Family Guy reference. Ah, that's why I didn't get it. I don't watch Family Guy, unfortunately. But yeah, if you got the reference, I guarantee it would have been funny. I trust you. No offense, but Ragatha and Gangle are the weakest written characters in the show. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with you on that one. Like, maybe they didn't get as much time. Except, no way, they did get time. Like, Gangle had a whole episode. Like, maybe they didn't do as much, technically, but I disagree in saying that they're the weakest written. I think everyone is pretty well written. I don't know if I would say that anyone is, like, doing terribly, you know what I mean? This dang beaver is gonna be the death of me. No, it's gonna be the death of my Ant Queen is what it's gonna be. Well, I guess I'll have to do a wild bull in a minute. But for now, we'll just put a bee right here. And I think... No, this won't be enough to do the thing, but you know what? It's fine. The otters are only 1/1, so it honestly should be fine. And then he can flip that over when he feels like it. And we can get even more teeth! Hooray! Not that many, to be honest, just an extra one. Aw, man. That means I'm not going to be able to get the thing. Oh, that makes me sad. I would have liked to get the knife. That would have been really useful for me. And because I now... Okay, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Luckily, I think there's not a storefront. Nope, it's directly in front of me. Okay, Okay, here, let me explain what I'm talking about. Okay, so basically, the whole point of this storefront is that you can use your teeth to buy things, which is a pretty interesting mechanic and encourages you to do extra over damage. Except if you go back in this mode, you can actually buy this knife, and it's super useful for what you want to do, but I don't have 7 teeth, so instead we just get to be sad and move on. So, that's a little bit annoying, and this probably isn't going to appear for a long time, so we just kind of have to give up on it for now. But, oh well. It is what it is. Okay, what can we do with this? And this is actually kind of dangerous, because we're getting less and less cards, which means less and less damage, potentially. And you kind of want to be able to do this right... Okay, you know what? We're gonna make something that jumps. Ant Queen, you get to jump. That might have been a horrible idea. I might have just doomed us. Oh well. Reason I say this is because Gangle doesn't have direction, like her trauma is isekai and paintings. Ragatha's whole episode was more of a cast episode than her episode. I think cast incredible, just be comparing them to each other in terms of writing. I guess I can see what you mean, but Gangle's identity isn't like isekai and paintings. Her trauma is based on identity and the struggle of masking, which is very literal in her case with character design, and we see it a lot in her restaurant episode. where it's really a case of struggling with identity and how you want to present yourself and being real. Because unlike every other character, Gangle does not have the luxury of hiding how she feels. Like, anyone at any time could just smash the mask, and all of her deepest, like, sadness is revealed fully bare before people. And that, honestly, kind of sucks. And it makes sense why she has a really hard time a lot of the time. And, like, if you're talking about the vision that she gets from Kane, where it's like all these different faces circling around her, that's not like, because that's not just paintings, that's a representation of her struggling with her own identity and feeling like she's trapped because she feels like she has to do this mask all the time. And are we gonna live? Yes, we are. As you were explaining why I just got an ad, you can't make this up, sorry. That's okay, I'll say it again. I love talking about this. Okay, so what I was saying was, yeah, her trauma isn't like paintings and isekai, it's the fact that Gangle is the only character that does not have the luxury of hiding how she feels all the time. And it's a, hang on, let me flip this while I talk. It's a struggle of identity where, like I said, she's the only character who doesn't, because people talk a lot in analysis about like the mask that Jax puts on. Gangle can't really put on a mask because her mask is literal, and at any time it could break, and then there's nothing she can do to hide. She's just like that. Like, for the rest of however long, everyone can see all of those deep and very vulnerable emotions, and there's nothing she can do about it, and it kind of sucks, right? And we see in the restaurant episode her trying to deal with that in a way that kind of brings out her worst qualities. Like, I don't think she wants to be the type of person who is very domineering and yelling at everyone all the time, but that's her mask for that episode. And in the end, she decides that, like, I don't want to be that. I want to try and be something else. And over the course of the series, it's actually super interesting because we see her wear that mask less and less as time goes on, and it kind of mirrors Zooble's arc, where over time she gets more and more comfortable with just being herself without feeling like she needs to put on that fake mask. And I think that's really cool. I can see what you're saying in terms of like timing and things like that, but I think that that Gangle's arc is not just the fact that, like, she was transported somewhere, you know what I mean? Sorry, I missed some messages. If I had to take a Tadc character on a date, it'd be Zooble, no question. I mean, yeah, fair. They'd probably treat you right. I made a horrible mistake. We're just gonna reverse time, 1 second. Because that's a thing I can do. Just kidding, it's obviously Ming. I would have gone with Disappearing Man personally, but you know, to each their own. Yeah, and when it comes to Ragatha, I think her arc is a bit more hidden because of the whole Jax thing, where it's like they're trying not to reveal too much about what's going on with them. You know what? Let's put them right here so they don't get immediately clobbered by this skink. Actually, let's go like this. That's beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, like, Ragatha is one of my favorites, so, like, personally I'm a little bit sad that we didn't get to see more of her just in general. But in terms of how the story was written, I think it does a pretty good job overall. I will say, I wish we'd gotten a little bit more from Gangle, specifically in relation to Jax with this last episode, but Yeah. It's disappearing guy, not disappearing man, fake fan to jail with you. Well, you know what? Maybe I know him personally. Maybe only his friends can call him disappearing man. Maybe you just don't know him as well as I do. Joking, of course. Okay, B? No, we get maggots. Only maggots for us. I just think Zooble does Gangle's arc. Gangle's very emotional. I wish her happy mask was the manager mask. Body's the manager when she wears a mask. For both foreshadowing and giving Gangle unpredictability. I can kind of see that angle, but I think the manager mask works so well because it's so different from Gangle's base personality. And the point of Gangle's character is not that there's something hidden underneath that we don't know about. It's the fact that they can't hide anything, right? Like, that's the idea. Like, they try to shield themselves, but they can't in the way that other characters can. And when they try to, it manifests in something really kind of mean and a little bit nasty, and in a way that's clearly not very healthy for them. And I think that in a way that makes Gangle a reflection of Jax, in a way, where, like, if things had gone a little bit differently, their coping mechanisms are kind of similar. Just Gangle isn't able to actually keep that up because she doesn't want to hurt people, you know? Like, I can understand what you're saying. I just think it comes down to a difference of opinions. But I think at the end of the day, we both wish that more had been done with her a little bit. Like, just a little bit more, you know? I mean, like, the manager is part of her that she needs to accept. You know what? I didn't think about it from that angle, but I can kind of see what you mean. Where it's a case of... also, I'm definitely gonna die in this round. But, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because the mask is not something that Gangle came up with, if that makes sense. Like, the mask was given to her by someone else with good intentions. Like, Zooble wasn't trying to be, like, mean or anything. But it's one of those cases where sometimes you act a certain way, and afterwards you think about it and you're like, you know, I kind of don't want to be that. And I think that's the case of what happened, where it's like, I tried something to, like, change how I act and try and be the person other people want me to be, but I didn't like it. And I think it made me worse. And I think that's kind of what the episode was going for. But, yeah. Speaking of things that rhyme with maggot. Oh, hey. I think maybe you're making a joke, but that didn't happen, and that's a little bit crass. Watch it there. Like, you didn't actually say it, but let's be a little more sensitive here. Actually, I'm in a rough spot, because he's gonna come over here with a hook next time. No, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pray that I get the Ant Queen this next time. We're just gonna hope for that. Yeah, sorry, but Majax did say it. It's a thing in the episode. Did not use that word. I don't know what episode you watched, but they did not use that word. Unless I missed something, that's not a word that was used as far as I'm aware. And I'm dead. Okay, here's the question. Is this worth resetting? Is this worth keeping? No. Well, we'll just let this one go. For Ragatha, I think she just gets so little screen time. Zooble has enough, but Ragatha could be so much more in my eyes, which is why I'm saying she's one of the weakest. Yeah, I can see that. definitely. And like, you know, obviously, I'm a very biased source. I like Ragatha a lot. Of course, I would have loved for her to get more screen time. I'm just trying to, like, I imagine writing this series, you know, it's always difficult to make a series and try and allocate time, especially with a cast like that's just like 5 of them instead of something more simple like 2. But yeah. Like her mom was just, her mom was abusive, but what specifically? Jack gets her mom and what specifically happens. Like, I can understand that angle. I can definitely understand wanting to know. I don't know if it's completely necessary for her arc. She talks a bit about it, and it seems like a lot of berating and verbal abuse, which Jack seems to definitely relate to in a way that she immediately tries to pretend that she doesn't relate to by changing the subject. But yeah, I'm trying to think. My brain left me. What was I talking about? Yeah, when it comes to specifically what happened with Ragatha, I don't know if we necessarily need it for her arc, but I can completely understand if you want to know about that. Like, that's completely understandable. You know what? This is extremely powerful. We're gonna take this immediately. That's why I think a PTSD episode would be fun. Yeah, exactly. Fun in the I want to know about these characters and put them under a microscope type way. Now I get exactly what you mean. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, like, I love putting this is the exact same setup that nearly got me killed. I don't like this setup, how dare you. But you know what? We are prepared this time, so it'll be fine. At least this time we don't have a sacrifice immediately, because that's been happening lately. I just want depth. Oh no, that's completely understandable, Enderman. Like, I'm not trying to make you feel bad or anything, I totally get it. Like, just from a writing perspective, I don't know if it's necessary, but from a me fan perspective, I totally get it, you know? Because it would be really interesting and cool to see that, to see more fully what's going on there. By the way, I just took a drink of water. You guys should drink water too. Okay, let's see if we can get the wolf pup down. Actually, let's see. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to get the wolf pup down now. Because that will give us much more damage in the future. This won't tip us over, right? 4, 5. Yeah, we're fine. There's a few things I found out, like Cain and Jax are complete opposite of each other. Cain's an idiot who's power. Cain has no power but all the knowledge. I don't know about all the knowledge. I wouldn't clock Jax as knowing exactly what's going on all the time, but I think I understand what you mean. And like, the whole arc of Cain is eventually that he does learn, right? Which I think is good for his character. I'm glad that we get to see that for him. Like, that's super awesome. Yes, give me the teeth. That is less teeth than I was hoping for, but I'll take it. Yeah, let's get some items. Yeah, I do think Jax is, like, somewhat self-aware, but, like, they also repress. She also, like, represses things super, super hard. So it's like, maybe she knows things, but she's not gonna use that knowledge. At least not for good, you know? It's like, it kind of comes with cynicism, where you have a lot of knowledge about how the world works, But if you're not careful, you can end up refusing to see the good both in yourself and the world around you. If that makes sense. Where it's like, yeah, you know a lot, but there are good people in the world who care about you. You know what I mean? I mean, Jax understands humans, why he's the one to call out Cain. Deliberately pushes people away to extremes. Yeah. Ari, I gotta be honest, I did not hear that at all in the YouTube release. Maybe I'll have to rewatch it and it's present, but as far as I know, it's not there. And honestly, if it is, then it's like, that's an intense thing for Maid Jax to say. And that's all I'll probably say about it. Because it's part of Jax's arc. Like, that he does some really reprehensible things to the people around him. And yeah. So that's probably all I'll say about it. But yeah, to your point, Enderman, that is totally fair. At least at the start of the series, Jax definitely understands people better than Cain. And yeah, I don't know how many teeth we're gonna get out of this, to be entirely honest. Okay, thumbs up. Fair enough. Bye-bye, Ant Queen. You will be sorely missed. Let's replace you with a worker ant. What's more dangerous? Actually, no, we need to get rid of this adder. We need to get rid of it. Let's just go with that. And if I can manage to get this skunk on the board, I'm gonna completely neutralize this guy. Yep. Oh, now you give me the Warren. Now you give me the Warren. Okay. I see how it is. Giving me what I want way too late. Okay. Yeah, we're actually kind of in a dangerous situation here. But I think we do have the tools to take care of it. It's just like, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. No! No! My flawless plan. So terrible. Ah! Alright, here's what we're gonna do. Cockroach. Warren. Warren, thank you. And... up. Do we have enough bones? Yes, we do. Gonna block that. Perfect! Crisis averted. Someone called this out, and I thought this was interesting. Gangle could be the one influencing Cain to harming the cast, quote, punishment that my adventures are missing. Like how Cain listens to Zooble say forget it, then forgets it. Not saying he was in the right, just an interesting call out. It is an interesting call out. I didn't think about that. I don't know. Like, I can definitely see that. Him taking, quote unquote, inspiration from what the cast members do. But, yeah, part of me also thinks that it was just part of him... what am I trying to say here? Yeah, that's definitely an interesting call out. Like, I might have to bring that up in my future video talking about Gangle. But in terms of how true it is, I'm not sure how much it goes beyond headcanon. But it is cool. I didn't think about that. Yeah. You know, looking back on it, we maybe put a little too much focus on how Zooble says, forget it, and then Cain is like, forget what? Because I think it gave people the impression that Cain was, like, always listening to what the circus... Oh, wait, look at that. Okay, if I ever get an adder, I'll have to try and do that. But I think it gave people this impression that, like, Cain was always listening to them 100%, and that's just, like, not true. So, yeah, like, it maybe gave people not the correct impression about what was going on. But hey, it is what it is. Let's see, what do I actually want to do here? Because, and actually, what am I even doing? I don't even have enough teeth to buy the knife. Ah. Oh well, we're here now. Actually, can I get enough teeth to buy the knife with what I have? I think so. So I do think we want to go over here. We're gonna have to figure out what sigils we want to change. Okay, let's look at this. Let's consider this. Okay, I want to keep these fairly normal. This, I mean, it's got to be skunk, right? Like, that's what I gotta do. And then maybe, it ends up evening out. And I want to keep this empty in case we can get a frog sigil on it later. So, yeah, we'll go with this one. Probably could have put better sigils on the direwolf pup as well. But, you know, sometimes you gotta make decisions. I think Zooble and Jax are kind of at fault for Cain. Like, you're making adventures, Jax is just going to ruin them, and Zooble contradict multiple times. Like, I understand that angle completely, but at the same time, I don't know if anyone else would have reacted much better. Like, Ragatha was okay most of the time, because she kind of was just like, oh yeah, it's fine, ha ha ha. But, like, it wasn't really good for anyone. It was, like, not a good situation, no matter how you look at it, if that makes sense. So I think saying that they were, like, at fault, that's not necessarily incorrect, but I don't know how much it actually helps the situation to think of it like that. Where it's like, yeah, technically they could have been nicer, but ooh, actually, I'm gonna have to do this differently, because I actually want to get lots of stuff here. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I think this should be fine. Yes, we will be fine for the time being to do this, because I want those teeth. Insane that the TADC finale are going to get Deltarune Chapter 5 in the same month. This decade might be the best for gaming ever. Yeah, I know people are really excited about that. And it is very exciting. Oh gosh, this is going to hit stupidly hard. That's not good. How far away is the... Yeah, because if I don't... What can I do differently? You know what? What the heck? Get out of here. Okay. Yeah, it's really cool how much indie stuff is coming out, both from a show and game perspective, and it's really exciting. I don't know if this is true, but I think Cain is positive focused, as in it doesn't work with negativity, but if you tell him what's good, he'll keep doing it. Like if the cast said they like more choices, he'd keep making them, or certain NPCs. I think that's partially true, but at the same time, not really, because they do tell him in some cases what they like. Like in, which episode is it? Episode 5. There we go. The one where they do a bunch of random adventures. Zooble and Pomni are pretty straightforward about what they like in specific adventures, but Cain is very focused on pleasing everybody. And because he can't please everybody, that kind of throws him off, where he's like, how am I supposed to please all of you when you all want different things? Completely missing the fact that, like, I don't know, maybe you don't need to please everyone all the time, if that makes sense. Like, his logic is just kind of flawed in most cases. You know? Okay, actually, about Glitch in general, I do not like the game averse at all. The writing is all over the place, and the premise is fundamentally flawed in my opinion. I mean, I'm waiting to see what happens with Gameoverse, because the premise is definitely like, it could work, but it would require some savvy writing, because how do you create a story where it's like, because all games have to end eventually, right? That's kind of the point of them. So how do you make a story about how we're trying to stop the games from ending ever? You know, it's a bit of a difficult thing. I don't think it's impossible, but we'll have to see how exactly they do it. Because it was their suggestion, but if it's his, he would listen. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Like, are you saying if he did something and they said, oh, that was good, he would keep doing it? Because again, I'm not sure about that, because that's basically what happens, at least I thought. But, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe he would have reacted better if they were more, I don't want to say accommodating. But yeah, but the thing is, like, Ragatha has been there for a while, and she probably would be very positively reinforcing, even if she didn't believe it. And I kind of wish we got to see how adventures were with Ribbit and stuff like that, because we really don't get to see, and it might give some insight into what we're talking about if we'd been able to see how adventures were before Ribbit passed away. But unfortunately, we don't get to see that, so. Different way of thinking about it, controlling Kane. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I think Kane is very controlling for a lot of the series. Bonk, 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 bonk. And okay, perfect. We're getting a ton of teeth. I don't know if it'll be enough, but we're doing as much as we possibly can. Alright. Squirrel. Flying ant. And cockroach. Alright, I believe this should be enough teeth. Beautiful. Because he specifically says, wait, that's a bad thing. They're enjoying their suggestions more than the me adventures. You know, that's totally fair. I hadn't thought about his specific wording, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we have enough teeth. Perfect. Which is totally fair. Part of Kane's issue, as I've mentioned in previous videos, is definitely that he can't be okay if they're enjoying something unless it's his. Knife time. Yeah, he can't be content with just like, oh, they're enjoying it. It has to be because of him that they're enjoying it. Which, you know, I think definitely you're onto something there, and I kind of think the same way. I was just kind of, you know, I like to look at things from a lot of different angles. You know what? Bugs are searchers now. That rabbit one is also busted, but there's a fight coming up, so we need all the help we can get. Sorry, taking a drink of water. Rabbit like Jax? Is that a TADC reference? Yes, every time a rabbit is mentioned from henceforth, it's because of Jax. Also, this... Okay, we do have the knife, so we're in an okay position, but I'm not entirely sure about this next fight. This might be kind of rough. We'll have to see. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, that's what we're gonna do with this. We don't want to go too fast, because if we go too fast, it could get kind of bad. You know what? Okay, I think I know what we're gonna do. We'll go like this, and then... Yeah. we'll just, yeah, we have to do things on a slightly offbeat pace, just to make sure he doesn't steal all of our stuff. Unless we die here. Okay, we don't. Good. I did keep track of it. Good. If I was a millionaire, I genuinely would just pay Blumhouse to make your FNAF movie rewrite into an official FNAF movie. Thank you, that's very sweet of you. I think you would run into a bazillion copyright issues, but I really appreciate that. And honestly, like, it's technically a movie script the way I did it, but I wrote it in a specific way so that you could enjoy it if you were just listening to it. So in reality, it's a bit more like an audio drama than a straight up movie script. It's like part movie script, part book type thing. So if I were to actually, like in some universe where I was asked to make the movie, it would probably end up being just a little bit different. I would write things a little bit differently so that they were shown more through, like, because I spend a lot of time on, what's it called? Yeah, I spend a lot of time describing how characters are feeling and specific observations they make, which works for a novelization of a movie, but if it was actually gonna be a movie, I would do it just a little bit differently. My predictions for the finale was that it would be a Kinger rescue mission caused by Jax pushing him into the void. I think I saw a comment about that. It might have been you, it might have been someone else, but yeah, I did see that, and I thought it was really interesting that that was a theory with that. Dang ad. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll talk a little more slowly, perhaps. But yeah, let's just focus on getting the money. That's gonna be a problem. Okay. No. You over there. Alright. Yeah, about the Kinger rescue mission. I hadn't realized that was a prevalent theory, but I do find it interesting. Like, I think that's definitely an interesting one. You know what? We'll just go like this. I just realized I can't put the thing in the thing. I can't put the direwolf down because that's... Okay. Okay. It's okay. We can figure this out. It's gonna be tough, though. We might have to reset this because I think it's entirely possible to get through. But I think maybe I goofed it a little bit. Here, let's grab this. Because I don't have any more ants in the deck, I don't think. So this'll be a little bit tough. Because I only have one of these. And I don't have the capacity to get more ants to do this? Okay, let's see. Wait, isn't that the modern equivalent of what? This is. If I had unlimited money, I'd just spend it on art, honestly, commissioning video games from different studios and music from different composers. Yeah, like, if somehow you do get rich, I think that's a fantastic use of your riches, to be entirely honest. And also, I'm in a terrible spot. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a time. Okay, okay. I think there's a way to do this differently. Okay. We're gonna quit out, because I do think there's a way to get past this. When previously, I just let myself die, it was because I didn't think there was a way to get through this. I think there's a way to get through this round if I'm just really careful about how I play things. I think there is a way, we just gotta find it. But yeah, I think if you're an incredibly rich person, commissioning a whole bunch of art and stuff, that's a pretty good way to do it. If I was super rich, I'd want to do a lot of art stuff, a lot of, what's it called? If my brain can work, charity, that's the word. Yeah, a lot of art, a lot of charity, just to, you know, like, once I take care of my own family, it'd just be one of those things where it's like, just arts all the way, you know? Have you seen the Tadc AUs, like Control-Delete AU? Not as much. Because I'm really busy trying to do videos, I am doing my best to use my time a little bit more wisely and not be online as much. Sometimes I don't succeed as much, but I try. And I like AUs a lot. I think they're super fun. But I haven't seen a ton of them, if I'm being entirely honest. Also, this might be goofed as well, because this is gonna pull over and... No, you know, yeah, because this squirrel's gonna flip over and kill my guy. Okay, so we might have to do this again, but that's okay. There we go. Yeah, let's just grab this, I think. But yeah, I think AUs are really fun, and I would love to do some research and see more of them, if possible. Because like I said, I just don't know that much. If I had unlimited money, I'd remove the dumb leaders of the world. Yeah, like that's a very tempting answer, but I think in reality it would probably be a little more helpful to just try and do as much good instead of... Because it's very easy to think, I will root out all of the bad and nothing will ever be bad again. But in reality, you know, bad things happen sometimes, and so it's probably just better to try and be as good a person as you can, if that makes sense. We're just gonna go like this? See, the problem is I am trying to get this direwolf pup onto the field so he can do a quadspillion damage. But I've not been doing it quite right. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do this. Hang on. I think, actually, maybe. Sorry, pal, you're not gonna get to take this. You're gonna get really upset and make a bunch of bears. Okay, if I'm doing it right, flip over. Yes! Perfect. Okay. I'd revert all the dumb stuff from YouTube. 2015 YouTube will be back. Well, some good stuff has been added. Like, I think there have been, like, I'm not a fan of, like, auto-captioning, but I think a lot of good features have been added, and I just don't want to get too rose-tinted about things, if that makes sense. But yeah. What do I do? That's an excellent question. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put that here, and hopefully get a whole bunch of... don't forget to do this, llama. Oh my goodness. Okay. We're gonna kill the bear. We're gonna do some damage, and then we're gonna try and survive the next few turns. Maybe fix the school system then. That would benefit greatly. Yeah, I think education is a big one. But some have been removed. Like, the clip button is gone, and the dislike button. Yeah, you know what? You could probably revert the dislike button change. I'm just saying that, like, not every change needs to be reverted. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Here we go. I am hoping that I can survive this next round, but I don't know if I can. Alright. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I think I can do this. The problem is, the direwolf is not going to be able to kill this bear right away. And I think by the time this bear dies, it might be too late, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try. Okay. 2015 to 2020 was genuinely peak internet. There were some good things, like how active everyone was because of COVID. Like, that made it, like, a fun space in a lot of ways. But in a lot of ways, it was also really toxic. Like, I don't know if you've heard of the Dream SMP. That was 2020. And there are a lot of things I really love about that, but I think we can acknowledge that there was a lot that was not so good about that. So it's completely understandable to like a lot of things about that era, but I think we shouldn't get too rose-tinted about any era specifically, because every time period has its problems, no matter what. What do you think the best year of gaming? Personally, I'd say 2016. I don't know. Because I'll be honest, when I was, like, growing up, and even recently, I didn't do that much gaming. Like, you know what? Yeah, maybe we let this run go. I think we're gonna let this run go. Yeah. I don't know that much about gaming, and I'm only just barely, like, dipping my toes in, so I couldn't really tell you, to be entirely honest. Yeah, you know what? We get to kill this bear, but I think we're dead next round, so... Oh well. Dream SMP, that's a deep one. I was in the Dream SMP, it was very toxic. Dream was a jerk. Yeah, and the other guy, yeah, like I said, it wasn't all good in the 2020s to whatever. Like, I have a lot of fond memories of Dream SMP. Like, I think there was a lot of cool things about it. But, yeah, eventually I'll do a deep dive on it, but, yeah. Tommy Innit and Phil's are good, though. Yeah, I'm really glad to see that, like, Tommy Innit is doing well for himself. It was really cool to see him, like, get into doing stand-up comedy and all these things. And, of course, Phil's is still around, and a lot of the others are. I don't really watch them as much anymore, but it's been really cool to see them grow and, like, figure things out. And, yeah, I think a lot of it was they were all, like, really young doing that, so there wasn't really as much... Probably less safeguards than there should have been for how young they were, but a lot of them are doing a lot better, and that makes me happy for them. What am I trying to get? Yeah, this is really early to be getting this, and I want that knife. So we're actually gonna go to the left to do a sacrifice, and go from there. It's all about moving forward at the end of the day. Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, like, it's very sad, the unfortunate passing away of Technoblade, but we do our best to remember, you know? Okay, actually, this is off topic. I want to try and put the magpie on the beaver, because I want to see if the magpie activates 3 separate times, because the beaver technically gets 3 activations, if I'm understanding correctly how it works, and that has the potential to be quite busted in the long run. One of the points Tommy said, saying he was too young. Dream is not evil, but definitely a jerk. No one's evil, really. Like, if we're being entirely honest. It's just one of those things where it's like, wow, 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 you know? Okay, let's see how this works. The unfortunate thing now, of course, is that the beaver is flying, so we can't use it to kill threats as effectively, but it still could be pretty good. I'm sure you can, Enderman, but then I think we get into just, like, personal thoughts about the nature of humanity, and I don't know if you want to get into that in a casual Inscryption stream. Well, maybe it's more accurate to say I don't know if I want to get into that, but we'll see. You know what? We said we're gonna try it, so we're gonna try it. And if it doesn't work, oh well. Okay, so that activated when the first one went down. So more than likely, we get more than one activation. That is really, really, really good. That's really good. Okay, nice. Might sacrifice the beaver in a minute, but oh well. Wait, does this mean... Okay, good. The dam still does block things. I don't know why I thought it didn't. It's not like it would stop working that way, but yeah. Alright, let's put down our ant queen. And then when the viper comes down, we'll be able to kill it. Awesome. The best thing to do is get cards in the same deck, like all reptile bugs or all reptiles. Oh yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to see if the beaver thing would work, and it turns out it does work quite well, it would seem. At some point, like I said, I wanted to do a run using no insects, because insects are kind of busted, but as it is, I think we're doing alright. You know what? Let's just go like that. Why not? Oh, well I got no extra teeth from that. That's a little bit annoying. Oh well. We went this way for a reason. It was a good deck, you did well. Leshy the Goat. Yeah, that ending, it's such a good ending for what the game is. It's really, really good. Also very sad, but very, very good. I enjoyed my time with Inscryption a lot. And I'm also very happy, like, that I got to play it. It's been lost to time, but Inscryption is a game that I played live on... Actually, wait, no, what am I saying? It's not been lost to time. You can watch my VODs of it. Yeah, so I guess if you want to see my first playthrough of Inscryption, it's on the channel. Like, I have the VODs of it on the channel, on the livestream channel, so if you want to hear me play through Inscryption, then you definitely can. I completely, for some reason, I've gotten used to Twitch. I thought it was gone, but no, you can go and watch it if you like. Alright, what are we gonna do? Because this is actually kind of dangerous. I guess we'll get rid of the skunk and go mud turtle? No, I don't know if I like that. We'll do skunk on flying ant, maybe. I'm really not sure, though. That's a rough one. Because if you get too many sacrifices, you kind of just run out of cards. And that's not good at all. And I kind of don't want to sacrifice the mud turtle yet. Because it's really good. So, yeah, it has to be skunk, I think. Let's put that on flying ant. Same verse, same soup, different day. Forgot your YouTube channel? I forgot that my VODs were there. In my brain, I'd streamed it on Twitch, so the VODs weren't there. I forgot I streamed it on YouTube. I would genuinely love to see you play in Stars and Time, so favorite game ever, and it's the type of favorite game where I will genuinely say it is the best game ever. I have heard a lot of really good things about that game, and I've remained relatively unspoiled about it, so that's definitely one that I want to check out at some point. You know what? Woblam. Beautiful. Amazing play from me, if I do say so myself. Yeah, but again, we got ants. That's kind of dangerous. I will be there when you check it out. Yes, please do. I'd love to have you here. Yeah, I'm unsure if I would want to stream it or if I'd play it on my own time, because, excuse me, I gotta take a drink. When it comes to how I how I live stream nowadays, it's a lot more casual, where I think probably occasionally I'll play new games, and maybe In Stars in Time is one of them, but it's one of those things where these after-party streams I'm focusing, or at least trying to focus more on talking with chat than focusing entirely on the game. But it'd probably be good to, actually. This doesn't give me many teeth either. Yeah, you know what, it's fine. We'll just go from here. If I am to say it has the same type of story mystique as Inscryption, okay. Yeah, I don't mind if stories are ambiguous a lot of the time. I know that probably seems contrary to the way I talk about stories a lot of the time, but my big thing with stories is I want them to set up what they pay off, and a lot of the time with a mysterious story, even if you're left with questions about how things work, a lot of the time the actual character arcs and how they feel get resolved, and also a lot of the time if they don't get resolved, that's part of the point. It's just that a lot of times what I end up analyzing is stuff that doesn't do that. But yeah, if it ends up being something really ambiguous, I think that's totally fine. I'm very excited for the Gaslight District personally. It's more my style than Gwen and Gameoverse. I am also super excited for the Gaslight District. And not just because I think the animation looks fantastic and amazing. Like, that's a story that I'm super interested to see what they do with it. Both from a character and world building standpoint. A lot of the time with pilots, it's like I'm either interested in the story or the world building. With Gaslight District, it's one of the ones where I'm interested in both, which is very exciting for me. Oh man. You know what? Maybe we can use this Raven Egg as a blocker for a hot second. That might not be a bad idea. Let's do that. There we go. Yeah, Gaslight District is a super interesting one, and I'm very excited to see what comes of it. That's gonna come down with everything. I don't know what I want to do here. Or maybe I do. Yeah, you know what? I do know what I want to do. Let's go like this. There we go. So that's 2. That'll be 4. Yeah, that should be fine. Here we go. No, I didn't mean ambiguous. I meant more like the story has a central mystery, gets you absolutely hooked. Like, even if you just played Inscryption's demo, you'd already know where there's something bigger. Okay. Well, you know, either way, that's how did you die? Oh, the annoying sigil. Right. Well, you know what? I think we're still okay. We'll just go like this. Okay, I see what you mean. That is super cool. Like I said, I'll probably have to check it out sometime. Okay, and I think this will work out to give us a nice couple of teeth. Maybe not a lot, but a decent amount. Let's go like that, and then we can get maybe one more tooth than we would have otherwise. Actually, No, you can't sacrifice the dam. Never mind. Still not nearly enough teeth, but it's more than we had before, so I will take it. But yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about In Stars in Time. I've tried to generally avoid spoilers because I know that game has a lot of twists and turns. And I'd love to experience it blind, but yeah, super exciting stuff. You know, I think it's fun that when you put the growing sigil on certain animals, it changes it into something else. Like, for turning it into a mantis, it becomes a mantis god. Like, I think that's fun. Ants are my favorite animals. For example, did you know there is a war about the size of America all the way across Canada between two factions of special ants? I did not. Please tell me about the ant war. I want to know about the ant war. I'm so serious right now. That's fantastic. I have a Hollow Knight Silksong original character, and she's an ant. She's specifically a weaver ant because I learned about them on an airplane. And they have weaver in the name, and they're ants where they tap the head of their larva, and that causes their larva to produce a silk. And then they use that silk to weave themselves nests out of leaves and the silk, and I think that's really cool, and so I made a character about it, as I am wont to do. And also there's a species of ants, I forget what they're called, but they have, I think, I can't tell, I'm gonna be honest, the documentary I was watching on the plane seemed kind of biased against these ants specifically because they were trying to be dramatic about it. I don't know if this is a symbiotic or a parasitic relationship, but there's a species of ant that live in this bush, and when they eat from this bush, it changes like the enzymes, so they can't digest food except from that bush, and then they live in the thorns of the bush. It was super, super interesting. Yeah, I love the ants in Silksong. I hope at some point that we'll be able to learn more about the mottled scars, just because I think they are super interesting, and we just didn't get a lot about them. But yeah. No, don't take my ant away. That's so mean of you. Here, take this money instead. Also have an ant OC, part of the red ants. Yeah. I just read that message, but I forgot. So, but yeah. It's honestly been a while since, like, I've made an OC for anything. That wasn't really something I did, like, in high school and stuff when I was a fan of something. I kind of just, like, thought about it. It's really hard, which, I mean, look at my channel now. It's no surprise that that's what I did. But, yeah. I like Silksong a lot. Let's get one of these birds off of the stage, shall we? The problem now is, it's gonna be a while before this ant can be on the stage as well, but it's fine. We do what we can. So we'll just go like this. I don't know if we can pass this stage. I think we can, but yeah. Also, can we agree that Nihilith is a gimmick boss that gets overshadowed in every way by Seth? Well, I would have to disagree with you, because if you watch, my super long tier list, I actually really like Nihilith. I think it's super fun that she uses not mechanics. Mechanics is the wrong word. She has moves from basically every other enemy that you see in the area that she's from, and I think that's super duper awesome. Like, I think that is really, really fun and an amazing part of the lore, because she has that blade attack that's from those floating guys in, what's it called? The wood. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, she has that. She has a cloud like some of the other enemies. It's just a case of like, okay, I'm gonna be able to get through these guys, but I think after that I'm dead. Anyway, Shellwood, thank you so much. Yeah, like she has mechanics from basically every enemy in Shellwood, and I just think that's really, really cool. And I love, like, and I know it's probably, you probably think of it as Seth's song, but the song, like the music that plays, it's so pretty. Like, she doesn't get to do a lot, and you can kind of cheese the boss if you just sit on the wall and throw daggers at her face, but I don't know. I really enjoy. I enjoy Nyla a lot. Oh wow, you did get bigger. You're so big and strong now. Yeah. Circus has a video on the ant war. There are Argentine ants, don't know which one, but one of them is mega colonies because they connect each other's nests. Makes a nest the size of America or bigger. That is really cool. Alas, an ad. Yeah, well, maybe I'll wait to talk about how cool the Witch Crest is then, because I definitely agree with you. Also, I don't think we're getting out of this one, chat, because you see, the funny thing about this is, when it comes to inscription modes, you kind of have to get lucky, and I don't think we got lucky enough this time, because I'm about to starve to death. So we'll just loop around to the next one. Ads are done? Sweet. Yes, we can talk about how the Witch Crest is super cool. Yeah, I haven't had much of a chance to use it because I'm doing a Steel Soul run right now, but I really like the Witch's Crest. I think it's really cool, and also kind of want to know the lore about that plant thing. Like, that feels a little bit important that we just don't know a lot about, and is maybe related to the White Lady, but it's super duper cool for sure. Beautiful. I maybe could have gotten the alpha to boost the... actually, I definitely should have gotten the alpha. I could have boosted the power of my ants at a later point. That's okay. Excuse me. We'll get a pack rat instead. That is too soon. I am not confident that we can get 7 damage. Because even if we... I guess technically we could. But that would require a lot of finagling, and I don't know if I trust that. So we're going to go this other way instead. But yeah, I'll have to do some research on that ant war, because it sounds super cool. Yeah, I've always kind of been an animal person, and so I love to learn things. But I know what things cost. I clicked on the wrong thing, Leshy. Hold on. The Witch Crest is a parasite from the area that shall not be named. So it's ironically Grandmother Silk's own doing that an infected child infected her. I really like carnal transformations in media, like Venom or the Witch Crest. Or if you've heard of the game Carrion, I have. I really enjoyed Carrion when I played it. I'm trying to remember if it's one that I played for the channel as well. I can't remember if I did or not, or if I replayed it, but I really like Carrion. I love the style, and I love the idea of being a monster that kills. Hold on, Leshy, while tearing out a tooth. Yeah, well, he can sit there a minute. He can tap his fingers all he wants, but I am still in control, okay? I decide when I do things. Which of these do I want to do? You know what? We'll do a pack rat. Why not? Oh, hello, Black Goat. And then we'll just start grabbing these. You know what? You. I just realized that this skunk is literally useless because it has the stinky sigil, but then it also has the alarm sigil. So those cancel each other out. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize till now. That's genuinely awful. Wow. Also, did you know you can beat carrion with a really low kill count? Wholesome flesh monster that doesn't want to hurt anyone. You know what? I did not know that. That's really interesting. Another interesting fact, did you know the asteroid that killed the dinosaur is one of 5 extinction events? I did not. Doesn't necessarily surprise me, to be honest. Because, I don't know, it's not as though the planet Earth has always been the most safe place. I might be in a little bit of a pickle here. Because even if I had placed it here, the reason I placed it over here is I need to get damage down. But I'm dead anyway. This is, I mean, this is kind of a waste of a black goat, except I can't even, I can't even do it. Okay, yeah, I don't know what to do about this. It's early. We'll just start a new one. No concern. It's actually one of the tamest extinction events. The dinosaurs. What are the other ones, if you don't mind me asking? Because that's very curious. Because, I don't know, a meteorite coming down and, like, creating a cloud of ash that chokes out life, like, that seems pretty, pretty harsh, if you know what I mean. Seems like, not the best way to go. Alright, we got flame. I hate when this shows up early, because it's, like, makes it really difficult, you know? Okay, we got a wolf cub and an alpha. I forget what happens when we get those next to each other, but we'll see if we can. First one was a volcano that erupted, sky covered sky in ash for years. Maybe I'm conflating 2 events in that case. Maybe I'm conflating the meteorite with the time that everything got the life choked out of it. Other one is still unknown. Theory suggested was an ice age. I mean, fair enough. There used to be glaciers in a lot of places that there are no longer glaciers. So, this is interesting, but I don't know about it. You know what? I always love a good mud turtle. And let's go with this. Why not? Yeah, I imagine that we know about extinction events because of the amount of fossils we can find. Like, the way that dinosaurs are preserved, I imagine, tells us a lot about how they died in the time period and what was going on. But probably sometimes we just find things and we don't know exactly what happened. Volcano 1 literally burned the ocean. Do you mean evaporated the ocean? Because I don't know how possible it is to burn an ocean. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm just like, I would like some elaboration if you don't mind. Let's just go this way. Avoid that path altogether. Yes, evaporate. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, but that's, you know, volcanoes are no joke. No joke at all. You know what, elk fawn, you get to be slightly bigger. Congratulations, you get to grow up big and strong. By the way, did you guys know that if you feed the mealworm to those campfire guys, they all die? And then you get to grow your creatures with no consequence? It's a pretty nifty mechanic. Make sure that you don't be like them. Don't eat worms. It's not good for you. I probably could have done that, but oh well. Let me just rip out a tooth. Luckily the volcano is long expired, so don't worry. Oh no, I'm not worried. I think, like, even if there is a super volcano, it's like, nature do what nature do, you know? and we just do the best we can. I think my Ant Queen is about to die. I did not think this through. But oh well. Except no, never mind, because I forgot. The kingfishers do not move, so whoopsie. Nope, I don't want the skunk. Give me the ant, thank you. That's 5. Also, GTA 5 is coming out soon. I'm gonna be totally honest with you, Enderman. I did not think that was a real game. I thought people were coping so hard they weren't even referencing an actual game that was in development. I thought the joke was that they were never going to make GTA 5, as in there was no production planned. I didn't realize that it had been stuck in production for however long. So, I guess I get to witness that point in history. If I had the opportunity to make an OC for Silksong, like Seth Goldman, make a carrion monster like OC, and how the carrion monster can turn into human. So you're saying like a bug that can disguise itself as other bugs? That's interesting. Because I know there are a couple bugs that do that. Kind of like, what's it called? Kind of like cuckoo behavior. Like, there's the ant dung beetle or whatever it is, where its egg gets laid in something that the ants carry into the hive, and then it eats all the larvae or whatever. Pre-releases are coming next month. That soon? My word. Personally, I don't care. I just find the joke really funny. Yeah, no, like, I'm not a GTA person. I don't know anything about it. But I do find it funny that I just straight up didn't realize it was an actual game. Like, I thought it was just cope. But even, like, more cope than it was. I thought it was cope in the sense that the game didn't even exist. I didn't realize that there were actual, like, plans about it. You know what? Let's just make this elk fawn stupidly strong for no reason. Most swole elk fawn ever. And let's try and get a whole bunch of teeth, because we can. Now that I found out that the skunk is just, like, useless, it feels a lot worse to play it, but there's literally nothing else I can do, so we'll figure it out, I suppose. And also, man, you know, this sigil, it's really bad for me, because it means that all the damage comes through and hits me, but it's, like, great for him, because he's just immortal. He doesn't care about damage. All that happens is he, like, loses. And I guess technically all that happens to me is I lose. But it's a lot worse for me because he takes me to the back room and takes a picture of me. Like a serial killer. Like, but no, I gotta just deal with this. Alright, Ant Queen, up you go. And next turn you'll get a friend. How about that? Sometimes uses sacrifice pit to my useless cards, so if it's removed from my deck, it's fine. Yeah, that's totally fair. I do that sometimes too, where it's like, if you die, great. If you live, then I have something stronger. But in this case, like, I didn't realize how bad the skunk was until just now. So I didn't really think about it. But yeah, it's kind of rough. Alright, let's get 2 more teeth, shall we? I'm gonna read the message, as in Greyroot, parasite monster that has intelligence of a bug throughout being absorbed a bug, and its consciousness fused with the bugs. Normally it's bug mode, but for combat it goes absolutely crazy style and carrions out and fights primarily currently. Okay, so sorry I keep comparing to other things, but do you mean kind of like Nosk, but there's more of a focus on the fact that it actually absorbs the consciousnesses of other bugs, where it's a case of, like, after it eats a bug it becomes a little bit like them, but internally there's like that monster type thing? Yeah, because I can kind of get what you mean. And that does sound pretty cool. He's a cheater. He grabbed the moon to fight you. Yeah, Leshy's a little bit of a bad sport. I mean, look at what I'm doing now. He just chucks bears at my face. But you know, we love him anyway. Yes, but like it's a single bug's consciousness? Gotcha. Ooh, that's actually not bad of a card to get. That's kind of nice. Yeah, that does sound very cool. Yeah, and like, even if that's not something that could be included in the game, feel free to just make that an OC that you just have, like, because that's fun, that's cool. I enjoy it when people do that, which is why I do it sometimes. Alright, let's... Yeah, I can only do the skunk. Okay, we'll do skunk and then... Yeah, you know what? We'll do skunk right here. So that when it dies, this guy will come in. And we'll just focus on grabbing... some, what are they called? Squirrels. Squirrels. I do need to do something, though, because this is not good. Let's play a mud turtle, shall we? Yeah. That seems like a good idea. Thank you, thank you. And now... let's actually play this, do this, so that doesn't immediately die when the Viper comes down. Okay, good. Actually, that reminds me, Nosk draws from my favorite of the characters, Leshy cheats, but he never takes anything away from you or even gets angry. He fits his character perfectly, patient but violent. I would say he gets angry that one time when he chucks a bunch of bears at you, unless you're saying that that was like a fake and he wasn't actually mad. But I don't know, I feel like he was maybe a little bit mad at us. Maybe just a tiny bit mad at us. Actually, that reminds me, Nosk draws from bugs. Thoughts of bugs. It is stalking, takes it on his form. What form would it take if it was stalking Hornet? Pre and post Silksong Hornet would be different. We actually get to see that kind of, I think. I believe in Godhome there is a fight with Nosk where it turns into Hornet. Like, it fakes being Hornet at first. And obviously, like, maybe you consider that to be non-canon, but I think it's a really cool idea. And I think it gives us a little bit of insight. And, plot twist, it flies when it's Hornet. So that's, you know, that takes on some new context when you think about the fact that when Hornet was a child, she, hoped to fly one day. Like, she thought when she grew older that maybe she'd get wings and get to fly. So that creates some interesting context, that's for sure. Where do I want to go, actually? You know what? Let's see if we can make this deer even more strong than it already is. Why not? Oh, hello, Black Goat. You'll be useful to have, I think. Okay, maybe we can get through this. We have some tools, but not a ton of tools. So, let's see how it goes, eh? This elk fawn is just getting so stupid strong. Oh, I get what you're saying, Ari. You're saying that it took on the form of the knight because there was nothing else to lure it with. Whereas with others, it's like... Yeah, okay. I think I get what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take this and put it on this. There you go, skunk. Now you're good for something besides cannon fodder. You're fodder in a slightly different way. Which maybe is not better, but hey, it works out. Gotcha. I think in terms of luring, it'd be kind of hard with Hornet, because I don't know how easily she'd be fooled by something like that. Take the form of Sherma or Chakra? Maybe. I think Chakra might be a little bit tough to pull off for it, but Sherma it might be able to do. You know what? Let's see how big this elk fawn can get, eh? Let's see what happens. Because that's kind of nasty. This might lose me the game, but that's fine. Yeah, that's a big boy. That's a big boy. I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping it would be like 8 power, but you know, 5 works too. Yeah, I'm really... Hornet, I sense a faker amongst us. Yeah, I just don't know how easily Hornet would be fooled. Sherma might work, but it'd be kind of tough. I think Hornet wouldn't be fooled, but would find the efforts of Nosk admirable, as she does show respect for creatures that hunt smartly. It kind of depends, I think, because she does have an appreciation for people who are smart about things. But I also wonder if she'd be insulted by it using the visage of a friend, if that makes sense. Because I don't remember if there's a hunter's journal entry for the plant monster thing that tricks her, but if there was one, that would probably give us an insight into what she'd think about it. But yeah. Bink. Yeah. And I am allowing this run to be let go because I think that I'm probably gonna wrap up for the day. My voice is getting kind of tired and I have some other things that I need to do, not the least of which all the other videos that I have planned. But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed this stream. I hope that you did. Unfortunately, for the next couple of weeks, I won't be able to stream because I will be traveling and then moving immediately after. So it's just going to be a lot of different things happening at once. My Saturdays are going to be busy, but after that, I hope to get back to this and get back to doing after streams because I really enjoy them. Yeah. Good stream, very nice talk. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Ari. And I hope that you enjoyed it too, Enderman, and anyone who was just lurking and didn't say anything, I hope you enjoyed it too. And yeah, I will see all of you guys later, and I hope that you enjoy the next videos that are gonna come out. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.